with the shedding. Other years he would, the brown hairs would still be mixed in with the black and you didn't notice it as much. But he shed more like honey this year for some reason. I can't say why.
Has this been a harder year on them because of the weather?
You know, it was hotter than usual and they spent a good deal of time soaking in the pond, but they seem to get through the summers just fine. The pond is actually 5 feet deep out in the middle, so they do swim across it. Lucky was out there yesterday playing with the rubber duckies and playing with one of his big black water tubs that he has, that he's not supposed to have in the pond, but it's still there anyway. Then we have to eventually retrieve them.
Will they hibernate?
They will hibernate. They'll generally go into hibernation sometime in the month of November, and it varies a little bit, you know, every year, and I think it's kind of weather related, you know. Somehow I think they're better predictors than we are. But they have 5 man-made dens to choose from, and they also can dig natural dens in the forest because once we excavated to the tree line in the pond, everything from there back in the forest is all natural. And so there's plenty of areas that they can dig their own dens, and they have started doing it, but they've never fully finished one or used it as yet. When you look back through the trees up there, as far as you can see back, this enclosure goes twice that far back. And if there's about 2.5 acres enclosed with a double electric fence, and that keeps our bears in and everything else out. Electric fence is all it takes. And it's not, I mean, I've leaned up against it and got a little shock. You know, it tells you it's there. It isn't that bad. It makes you jump, but it's not too strong.
Of course, if they did get out there, probably.
They don't really have any reason to leave. They got it pretty good. You know, meal times are pretty regular, and they do eat a lot of natural vegetation. This time of year, they're chewing off a lot of the white lumber. They like that. And other grasses that are still out and available to them.
Hi, Ted.
Like other dogs or pets, and our natural enclosure really allows them to behave like natural bears would. And so you get to see them doing their thing.
Everywhere, about 400 some pounds.
Teddy's about 630 right now. Lucky is close to 450, and Honey is close to 450. I haven't looked for the last couple of days to see what the actuals are on them. They're posted inside the bear center on the right side of the viewing windows. They're posted on a little board there, right by the scale, by the digital readout for the scale.
How thick is their fur?
That's a good question. I can't say I've ever put my finger down through it to tell how thick it is, but they do have an underfur that goes in pretty heavy in the wintertime. And then they have the guard hairs across the top, which are a little more coarse.
Do you need to be afraid of them?
Oh, I'm not afraid of them. No. They've all been raised around humans, very used to the bear keepers here. And, you know, but that comes from studying them, and it comes from, you know, learning their body language and their vocalizations and how they hold their ears and looking in their eyes, and you can kind of learn to read them. This year they're very intent on this time of year. They're in hyperphagia, which your bodies tell them it's time to bulk up for wintertime. Our bears, however, are pretty well fed all year, so they don't have to bulk up too much. They will hibernate, yeah. They'll generally go into hibernation sometime in November, and then they either come out at the beginning of March or beginning of April or sometime in between there. It depends on how mild the winter is. You know, the milder winters, they've been getting up at early March, and the tougher winters, they stay in their dens till late April.
They migrate out here.
See, they got double fence there.
Bears hibernate right here in the wooden den. We've had bears hibernating in the rock shelter. And then if you look off to your right, you're going to kind of see some chain link fencing out there. We put a new den in there we call the chalet last fall. We made the enclosure for for that, a little bigger for honey, just in case she'd ever have cubs. We'd have a nice place for them to stay until they were big enough to be released into the enclosure. And then going back into the far right side of our enclosure, there's 2 more man-made dens back in there that they can use. So, and they pick their own dens. We don't have anything to do with where
Hi,
they go.
Lucky.
And it's kind of funny, last year at the chalet,